channel. So for this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this two-piece for a little boy, just a short and a button-down shirt. So I'm using just 1 yard of African fabric, and I'm not even using the whole thing. So 1 yard is too much for this because it's just 1 yard I'm making it for. So you can do it with any little fabric you have left. So I'm going to start putting in my measurement now. So guys, this is the pattern I'm working with here. So the first thing I did is to fold my fabric into two. So as you can see, I have one for my back panel and then one for my front panel. The one for my front panel is into two, and then the one for my back panel is just one piece and it's this way. So what I'm going to do now is, okay, I've placed it this way, and just like how you normally have your zip allowance when you're cutting a normal body, that's why I have like about. So my back, the one that is longer is my front panel. So, and it's longer by about 1.5, almost 2 inches here. So what I'm going to do, how I got the width of this here is just the chest measurement of the baby, just chest measurement, right? Round the chest. So you're going to measure round the chest divided by 4. So round the chest I'm working with is about 20 divided by 4, that's going to be 5. I added about 1 inch of seam allowance, and then 1.5 of seam allowance and 1 inch of ease, because I want it to be free on them. So on him, sorry. So what you're going to do is just any chest measurement you're working with, you can use 1.5 of ease, you can use 1 inch of ease, and then you're going to add your seam allowance. So chest measurement divided by 4 plus maybe extra about almost 2.5 extra, that is what I'm going to add. So now I'm going to go up to the shoulder, and the shoulder I'm working with is 8 divided by 2, that's going to be 4, right? So you're going to measure their shoulder, and then the next thing you're going to do is to put the armhole. So to measure the armhole, I have about 10.5 divided by 2. The armhole I'm working with is almost 12 divided by 2, that's going to be 6. I'm going to put that in here, and then connect my line up, give it my curve this way, come down here by ½ an inch for the shoulder slope. In adult they normally use like 1 inch, but for this I'm using ½ an inch. And then I'm going to go up to the neck and mark about 2 inches for the neckline, right? You can even use about 1.5 instead of 2 inches. So I might use 1.5 or 1.75 depending on this age of the child you're sewing for. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to come down by also 2 inches. So you can do it 2 by 2. So I'm going to go up back again and then connect my shoulder slope. So this neckline here is for my front neckline, but this part, okay, I'm just going to put in 1 inch more. This 1 inch is going to serve as the neckline for the back, which is this one here, right? So 1 inch for the back. So you're going to come down 1 inch. So what I'm going to do now is to cut this out and show you guys. So first I'm going to start here, cut out my armhole, right? So this is done. The next thing I'm going to do is to go up here and cut out my shoulder slope, and then I'm going to cut out this 1 inch at the neckline. So that's basically it for the back. The back is ready. So now that the back is ready, I'm just going to mark to know the peak of the shoulder here, which is this point. So now with this point here, I'm going to come down 2 inches to mark my neckline for the front. So I'm going to just come down 2 inches, connect it this way, and then mark it this way. So I'm going to give it my curve now, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So you see, my neckline at the back came down by 1 inch. My neckline in front came down by 2 inches. You can even make it 2.5. It depends on you, or 3 inches. It depends on you. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take this here. Remember, I added about 1.5, like I said, 1.5 or 2 inches at the center. So what I'm going to do now is to just go ahead, take my back panel, right? The way my back panel is, I'm going to take the front panel, place it here, join the two shoulders together, and then this 1 inch that I left here, I'm just going to take it and fold it this way. You know how you normally fold? So let me set this aside. You see, like how we have about 1.5 or so in between here at the front. So that is just to fold it here to make a placket for your button. So I'm just going to take it this way and fold it all the way down and sew it So now this is going to be my placket for the button, and then I'm going to do it on the other side. So guys, as you can see, this is done here. The most important part, which is just to make this button part here, is done. So all you have to do now is to be sure that the neckline here will fit your child. So you can go ahead and measure around their neck, and then come back here and just place this here and measure around the neck. If you feel like the one you have is too small, then just go ahead and trim off more, maybe like trim off half an inch on each side, like trim it a little bit just to open it up more, because this is a baby and you don't want it too tight on their neck. So just measure around their neck and how slack you want it to be, or how fitted you want it to be, and then come back in here, take this up and measure around and figure out if it's what you want. If it's not, go back in and just like open it a little bit more, like trim off just a tiny bit, like just take it this way and just chip off a little bit from it. You see how much I'm taking out here? Just this small. And then this little thing I took out will make a big difference, like when you go back to measure it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and put in my sleeve. So guys, the next thing I'm going to cut is the sleeve. So you see what I'm using for the sleeve is this here, one sleeve and then the second sleeve. So I'm going to just go ahead and fold them into two this way. So I folded it this way, and then you're going to use this here to measure the armhole. So I'm just going to place this here, measure around the armhole here to the end. So what I have is 8. So if I put that 8 here, it fits in properly at the width of this here. So what I'm going to do is just to the length I want the sleeve to be is about 4 inches length. So you see I have 1.5 here, 1 inch of folding the end, half an inch for the top. So what I'm going to do, joining the top part to the sleeve, so is just to come down by 2 inches, right? 2 inches is what I'm going to use for the sleeve cap here. So the next thing I'm going to do is from this end, I'm going to mark to this end, just like how we normally draw our sleeve, a straight line, and then find halfway of this here, and the halfway is 8.5, halfway is going to be 4.25. Mark it here, give it a curve facing down, and then give this one a curve facing up, just like how we draw our normal sleeve. And that's basically it. So check the sleeve width. So the sleeve width I'm using is 4 plus 1, that's 5. So I'm going to just mark here and then connect it this way. And so I'm going to just go ahead and cut this out. So guys, I'm going to just go ahead, you see I notched the top part here to go ahead and put my sleeve on each side and then close up the sides. So guys, I've gone ahead and closed up the sides. So you see I've put in my sleeve also. So the only thing remaining now is to put in this here, the collar. So you basically have to go back and measure what you have here for your neckline. So just start from one end and measure it all the way to the other end. So guys, this is what I'm using. So mine was 11, and then the width I'm using here is 4 inches of width, and then 11 inches of length. So I added extra 1 inch to it because I'll just go to the sewing machine now, fold this into 2 on the wrong side, close up half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side, and flip it inside out. So that's why your neck, whatever you measured around the neck, add 1 inch to it because you need half an inch to cover the 2 ends. So now that the 2 ends are closed, and I've ironed it back out again, so you see the 2 ends are closed this way. So what I have to do is just to tuck in about half an inch in here. You can do that before you just tuck in half an inch in, half an inch on this side, like fold in the rough end with half an inch, and then so guys, you're going to tuck in about half an inch on each side. You see, half an inch here, half an inch here, fold it in this way. So now you have this clean end. You're going to take it this way and then put this inside of it. So you're going to take this and put this inside and then sew it. So this here is going to go inside of this here, and then you go to your sewing machine, place it this way and sew it all the way around. So guys, as you can see, I've put in the collar here. So what I have to do here is just to go ahead and put button on one side and then my button hole on the other side, and that's basically it for the shirt. So now we're going to see the back here. So now we're going to move over to the shorts. So for the shorts, what I have to do is just get my fabric. So guys, what I'm using here is just a big wide fabric here. So I'm going to fold it one time, and then I'm going to fold it the second time. So this is for the pant, right? So basically I'm going to make sure that their hip divided by 4, round their hip divided by 4 with their diapers on, plus extra 3 inches can fit in here. So that's what I checked. So the hip I'm working with is 24 with the diapers on, divided by 4, sorry, is going to be 6. 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. So plus extra 3 inches, that fits in here. So the next I'm going to do, so that's why I have 9 inches of width here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to just fold in 2 inches here. This is going to be my loop for my elastic. I folded that 2 inches down. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark the hip divided by 4 plus 1. So the hip divided by 4 is 6 plus 1, that's 7. So I'm going to mark my 7 all the way down here, right? Starting from the top, you're going to just fold this part and just make sure that that 7 fits in here, right? And then after that, I'm going to just go down here and mark about my crotch. So you're going to measure the crotch. The crotch I'm working with is about 7 inches, right? And then you make sure that you have almost 2 inches here. So that's why you have 2 inches here. That's why when you were adding, you made sure you had extra 3 inches. So the exact hip measurement plus 1, that one is going to contain the seam allowances, and then the extra 2 is for your crotch. So after that, now at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, after that, I'm going to just go ahead and open up the side, right? And then it's half an inch that I'm going to use to join it. So remember, I added 1 inch to this when I was cutting it. It's just because I want half an inch to be the ease, and then half an inch is going to be my seam allowance. So this is basically it here. And if you don't want it too boxy at the end, one thing you can do is just maybe come down at the end here and subtract like 1 inch from it, and then just blend it into the crotch. So this way. So this is what I just did here, and then cut that out too. So now what I have is, so guys, what I have is this here. So you see I've cut this out. This is it, my band for my elastic loop. That's why I folded these 2 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to take one here and then fold it wrong side facing me, go back, fold this one this way, close up this all the way to the end. So guys, as you can see, I closed up this side already, and then one thing I also did is just to go ahead and fold the end. I folded the end like how you normally fold the edges of your cloth. So now what I'm going to do is to fold it this way. You see my pants, my short is coming together. So now what I'm going to do is to close this up. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this up, and then at the top part here, I'm just going to fold back that 2 inches that I marked. So make sure to fold back that 2 inches again. And then after folding that 2 inches that I folded before, what I'm going to do is just tucking about half an inch in here, tucking about half an inch on the edges here, and then sew it all the way around, but leave about 1 inch somewhere around it to pass your elastic. So I'm just going to tuck this in again and just sew it down for my elastic, and then also go ahead, the way the crotch is now, I'm going to go ahead and close it. I've finished past my elastic. So this is the short here. I just have to go ahead and iron it. So this is what it looks like. I've passed my elastic also. So this is the top, this is the shirt here. So as you can see, I've also gone ahead and put in my button. I used like 4 buttons here. This is the neck. So this is what it looks like together. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.